So today I just want to present you how to prepare a very simple area of interest map. This is very important just to create such map in the journal, for example, because in most articles which I can read, actually I see that there should be an area of interest map. So what I want you just to show now is just how to create a simple map based on my experience, because I am also the reviewer. I see many articles where there are basic errors, so I just want to sort out something. And remember, this is only my opinion. Of course, you can have your own. What I'm using here is just actually ArcGIS Pro version now, as you can see, 3.5.4. So when I start ArcGIS Pro, I simply start without a template. Next, I will create first map. So generally what I want to do is just to divide the map for 3 separate maps, and then I will compose it together to one. So I will start with the first map. So my main area of interest will be the forest, so I will change the name to the forest. Connect to my data, so I already connected it. I have a folder, and in the folder I have exactly three polygon files, nothing more. So I will start with the forest, so I drag and drop the forest. Remember that every feature class must have the coordinate system already assigned. So remember to check it in the properties. You have spatial reference, and here you can check what is the coordinate system. It doesn't matter in your case what coordinate system you have, but you must have the coordinate system. This part should be filled by the data. In my case, I will just actually make a very simple map which represent the high. I have such attributes, so I go to the symbology. In my case, it will be graduated colors, and I am going to use the high, which is in Polish, but believe me, this is the high of the trees. So what is the mean high of the trees in every polygon? So what I'm interested in is just to divide the high to some defined interval. So I'm not going to use that one, but I use defined interval. In my case, 5 meters will be quite okay. So this will be my defined interval. As you can see, all this here represented. And what you should remember about some basics, which are very important. I will change the colors to some, I think so, more natural, like that. So what is very important here, what is a basic error. So when you select all the items here, remember to do 2 things. First is just go to the reverse symbol order, because we want to have the dense color, intense color on the top. And the second one, just reverse values, because what is important and what is very common error, that the biggest value should be on the top, on the legend. So remember about it, because it's mostly not created correctly, especially because the default option in ArcGIS Pro is completely opposite. The second thing which you should see here, as you can see, maybe the outline is a little bit too light. So if you want to change it, go to the format symbol, then you go to the properties, and you can make it more darker. So to check what's going on a little bit much more, you can see now the lines are more visible. And the last thing, which is also a very obvious error which I see, as you can see, the default number of decimal places is really huge. There is no sense, considering that the high precision is 1 meter, so I can change this. So you can go here, format labels, and remember I want to have 0 decimal places. So now, as you can see, the high is correct, so high. And I will add also the unit. Remember about the unit here, high in meters. This is very important. So in that way, we just prepared first map. Forest is already done, nothing more. Okay, let's go to the next step. Oh, maybe one thing which I will correct, because I do not see it correctly. Now symbolize, I will correct it again. Sorry for that. And reverse symbol order. Now it's okay, I just make a small error before. Okay, so now let's focus on the second map, which will represent the location of the Poland, considering the Europe border. So we will insert a new map. This map will be called Europe. Okay, so I will drag and drop Europe here. So as you can see, this is the default map of the Europe. This is some projected coordinate system. Remember, just avoid, this is common error, avoid using WGS84. Maybe I will show you. When you present it like that, it's classical error. Just do not present the data like that. Use projected coordinate system, anyone, but projected, so flat, considering x and y value, not longitude and latitude. So I return back to my coordinate system. So that one. So as you can see now, Europe is okay. So first what I'm going to do, just very simple thing, I'm going to completely clear the outline here. So I'll go to the Europe properties, no outline, so no color, or simply you can modify the outline to 0, and the color in my case will be a little bit lighter, so like that. The gray color are quite good, especially in the papers. Do not use a color, full color. The gray is much better, just for representation shape. Okay, so I have the Europe, and considering the Europe is a bigger part of the world, of course you can use world, you can use Africa, Asia, whatever you want. Remember about some more general unit, yeah? In my case it will be Europe. Everyone knows where is the Europe, so maybe not everyone knows where is the Poland, but Europe is very generally known, so let's leave a Europe. And then I will drag and drop the Poland, because I want to show where is the Poland. And in the case of the Poland, I will modify the colors a little bit, yeah. So the Poland in my case will be like that I will switch the outline to a little bit darker, so maybe like that, and the outline also in the same color. And I want to show you one tricky thing. You can see here when there is no outline here, you can see in Poland there is a small part which is very thin on the north part of the Poland. So when you are just watching on it like that, when it's 0, it's not visible completely, we cannot see it. But when you add an outline a little bit, you can see it appears. Of course it's only visualization, but it works. So remember the same color like the fill color and the outline color, and modify the outline white, yeah, it helps a lot. And now the third map. So I will go to insert new map. This map will represent the Poland. And what I'm going to do is just drag and drop Poland here. I will completely modify the color inside to no color. I don't want to have any colors. I leave the outline maybe like that, maybe a little bit more visible. But what I'm going to do before I will do anything more with the data is something like that I will go to the right click, then properties, and I will select the clip layers, and in the clip to an outline I will select the Poland, because I want to have all data will be clipped to the Poland shape. I want to have Poland as a separate part, separate polygon. So I just click OK. One thing, as you can see, this is a good example that something happened a little bit with my outline. So if you want to avoid such situation when the clip function also works on my outline, so you can go to the clip again, and in the exclude layers select the Poland, then you will see it will change. Okay, now it's correct. And finally, maybe some small option. I want to have small zoom on my area of interest for some part of my forest, which is here, and I want to present this on the satellite imagery. Of course you can use your own data, it doesn't matter completely what kind of data I will present, but I want to have small zoom. So in order to do this, I will just create a new map, and this will be called zoom satellite, and then I will just drag and drop my forest. I will add in the base map function, I will add word imagery, so like that. And then, because I want to show how it looks in some part as an image, so I will switch the outline to yellow or orange, something like that, and no color to the fill of the polygon, and I can modify it a little bit bigger. So now I clearly see what's going on here. This is my zoom map. So it's ready to use. Of course, it's done. Okay. One thing which can be a little bit valuable sometimes, if you see that the image is too dark, especially in the print, you can modify the, let's say, intensity of the colors using function which, when you select the word imagery in the T layer, you can go to the transparency, you can modify it a little bit. Yeah, press value 10%, and so you can see it's more lighter. Yeah. So now we are ready to create final layout composition. So I go to the insert and new layout. In my case, it will be simple layout in A4 format. In my case, landscape, which will be better. So I will select A4 layout. So this is my map. Okay. First, what I'm going to do is just to add data frame to my layout. Of course, remember that we will order it, but let's do it step by step. Maybe I will start with the main frame. So as you can see in the map frame here, you have all frames which are already generated. That's why I suggest to name the maps, because now you can clearly see what's going on, what is inside. So I will start with the forest. So I will just locate my forest here. One thing which is very commonly problematic for the people, when you press the Q letter on the keyboard, you can zoom in and zoom out, but remember, it's not efficient way just to zoom it by the scroll on the mouse. The best way is just to press the Alt button and press on the forest. So when you can see, when I have forest like that and I press Alt button and forest, I'm automatically zoomed to location which I'm interested in. Yeah? Here, this red cross, you will close activation of the map frame. And what is important here, remember, very important, I see it in many papers, just remove all outlines. Do not use such kind of outlines around your frames. It's problematic. So go to the properties, and you can see in the map frame section here you have border symbol. You can simply go to the 0 with border, and now it's clear. It's much better. Okay, so that's the first part. The second part, some additional elements. One of the elements is the note arrow. So it's a little bit problematic in many ways, because we can ask yourself, do we really need note arrow if we know that this arrow is oriented to the node, this object to the node? So I will put it. Yes, I'm going to put this note arrow, because in many cases the people just request show the note arrow. But in my case, if object is oriented to the node, it's not needed. Yeah. And additional thing which you should remember about it, that node arrow generally is here is located to the true node. But if you have the map projection node, remember just to switch it to map node. Yeah. So because it's different way, map node or magnetic node, these are different, completely different node arrows. So remember about it, because in my cases mostly it's map node. So map node is connected with the data frame. Okay, the next thing, what is very problematic, I see many errors, is scale bar. So I just select my frame, I go to the scale bar, and to be honest, just try to make a scale bar as simple as you can. So I use a very simple scale line map metric like that. And as you can see, the default values are completely disaster. We have to modify it. It's very simple. So I just select it, go to the properties. And what you have to do is on the right part here, just adjust white and just figure out what would be good value. So when we are talking about good value, we have to define what will be the units. In my case, I think the better will be not kilometers, but the meters. So I switch to the main frame here. I want to have meters, and of course I want to have the label text, which is not meters. I simply want to have M. It's absolutely enough for me. Yeah, so it's quite okay. So meters M. I return back here. So in my cases, I think let's try with the division, which will be 500 meters. So as you can see, it's quite okay. Of course, if you can modify the main unit, yeah. But definitely it's too complicated. So to correct it, I will leave it like this. Then I will go to the mark. So I will go to division and first midpoint. So as you can see, now it's definitely much more clear. I can clearly imagine what is the size of this object. So you can clearly see it's about 6 kilometers. I can see what is the division here. I do not need many precise value here. Just work with very simple scale bar. And what is important, very important, remember this value should be equal. So 1110 meters, 500 meters. Do not use 75 meters, 25 meters, or 12 meters and a half. This is completely disaster. So remember, this is a very commonly error which I correct in every article. So very simple scale bar. Okay, so now it's a good moment also to add the legend. So I will add the legend. So go to the legend, select the legend here, and what you can see here at the beginning, it's not very good looking. Oh, sorry, I have an error here with the name. Sorry for an error. So I just corrected here, as you can see, and now it works. So I want to have only the high here and meters, no legend, no forest, I don't want to have it. So when you are in the legend, when you go to the properties, right click properties, you can switch off you don't want to see the title. Then next you go to the show properties, and I don't want to have the layer name. I want to have only the high. So I have the high. That's absolutely enough for me. So it's ready. So now I can focus on my zoom map. So here is some empty place, so I'll create a zoom. Remember, be efficient in your map. So there's a lot of empty places. Think about it. There's no need to have it. Organize your map correctly. So I will go to the map frame. I will go to the zoom. I will draw a zoom here. So this is my zoom. Okay. Of course, I'm interested in some particular part of my zoom. So I press Q on the keyboard. I will zoom to some location which I'm interested in. Maybe in this case I will zoom, so I press Shift, and then you can see, you can zoom to your location. So I just close it. I can resize it a little bit like that. This is a zoom, and of course what I want to have is just where this zoom is located here on this map. So this is very classical methodology. So in my case, I'm going to use an extent indicator. So I select my map frame when I want to have extent indicators. Then you select extent indicators. And what is important here, you can see map frame 1. So what we have problem here is we don't know what is map frame 1. So maybe before we start with extent indicators, let's go here. And as you can see, this is my main map. So we'll change it to the forest. Yeah, and this is map frame 2, it is zoom sat. Unfortunately, these names are not copied from the main map, so I have to modify it manually. Maybe there is some idea on it, I don't know it, but anyway, it looks like that. So now, when I select my main frame, when you go instant indicators, you can see here zoom sat. So I want to have the zoom sat. As you can see, the square appears, so I will modify a little bit the color. I want to have the red color, a little bit bigger outline, like that. And of course, I will do the same with the red color here. So I go here, go to the border, and I will modify the color to the red, and also make it bigger. So now it's clearly seen that my zoom is connected with this area of interest in my forest. So it's done. Next thing which we have here, you can see there are some credits here, the name of the data source or something like that. Of course you can use it. You can modify the location of this text to another location, but if you want to actually remove this text here, you select the frame, then dynamic text, and then you can see the service layer here. So here we have information about it. Yeah. So now, as you can see, this text from that part is moved here. But of course, if you don't want to have it and you want to just delete it, you simply go to the options visible, switch off, and now it's not visible anymore. So sometimes it may be helpful. Remember one thing, that when you go here and you activate it, when you move it to the different location, you can see also this square also dynamically change the location, so it's connected. So next part, let's zoom to our Europe. So in my case, I will add the next frame with Europe. I will start somewhere like that. Okay, so I will just drag and drop it here. Okay, this is my Europe. Of course, I press Q on the keyboard again. I press on the Alt Europe, so this is Europe now. I will press the Shift button and zoom a little bit like that. So in my case it will be like that. I will zoom it and I move it somewhere like that. It's, in my case it's quite okay. I'm interested in that part of the Europe. Press cross. Final thing is just to remove the frame. As you can see, the frame is disaster here, absolutely. So when you right click properties, so you go to the map frame, the border, and set the border to 0. When think about the reader are just intelligent people, so they know where is the Europe. But if you really want to know, if you really want to name it, just you can add the Europe here. Yeah, this is Europe. But just think about it. Is really needed or not? Yeah. People are not stupid, let's say. They know where is Europe generally, especially when I'm talking about GIS stuff and so on. Okay, and final thing, we will add the Poland. So I will just select my Poland here. So here is my Poland. One thing, sorry, I have forgotten about it. When you have Europe here, so I just selected that. I will change the name to the Europe. And here when I have the Poland, so I will change the name to the Poland, just to know exactly what frame has what name. So Euro Poland, so I don't have a Poland now. So I press the Q and remember, just Alt name N on the keyboard, and now it works. So Poland is located correctly. Or of course remember about removing the border. So border to the 0, now it's clear. Now let's make an extent indicators to the Poland. So some, of course, we can discuss it's really needed or not. Yeah, so it's optional. In my case, it's not needed because I see the shape of the Poland here. But if you really want to have the square which represents where is the Poland, you can do this in a very simple way. Again, the same idea. So select the frame when you want to have the extent indicators. So that like that. Then extent indicators, and you select what frame should be presented here. So in my case in Poland, let's maybe modify the colors to some green one, like that. No, maybe this one will be better. But believe me, I don't think it's needed. First, what I'm going to do is just to fill the Poland by some additional layer. So in my case I will use, it's very tricky because I will add layer which is called base map and ocean. I know it's a bit strange, but ocean is quite good. You can switch off the reference. So I have the location of the forests, ground, rivers, everything is clear here. On the layout, as you can see, it looks quite good. And what's one thing which I remind you, it's clipped here to the border of the Poland, because here in the Poland, I just remind you in the properties I said clip to an outline. Yeah, so now it works. Okay, so now it's a big question where this forest is located in the Poland. If you are from the Poland, you know, but if you are not, I will show you. Of course, you don't have to think about it, because what you have to do is again the extent indicators. So I select my Poland because here I want to have this location. I will go to the extent indicators, then I will select my forest. So you can already see where is the forest, but what I'm going to do here in that case, in that particular case, I will change the options here to the collapse to point option. So I'm not going to use the frame or something like that. I will use to collapse to point. I will modify the size of the point. I will change the color of this point because I want to have the red dot which represent exactly the location of the forest. It's very small according to the country, but I want to have it, so now it works. Okay, so this is also a good moment just to add the scale bar here. I think it's not needed, but anyway, we can add it. I will select my frame with the Poland, the scale bar, then I will select the simple scale line 1 metric. Of course, I will just locate it somewhere, it doesn't matter where. Now I go to the divisions, and here, of course, I will adjust the white. One thing back here. I will use the kilometers because, of course, Poland is bigger than the forest, so I will use kilometers, but the label, of course, will be enough. km, 100 kilometers will be absolutely enough to express the size of Poland, so I will go here to the division, I will add 100 kilometers, and of course I need only one division. This is absolutely enough for me. 0 subdivision. I want to have very simple scale bar and only the divisions. You can modify a little bit the size of the marks here. You can also modify the size of the font here. So you can modify it a little bit. And the final thing which I'm going to focus on, do you remember that in many articles you can see that there is information about the longitude and latitude of your area of interest object? So what I'm going to do now, I will go to the forests, and here on the bottom, when I put the cursor here, you can see on the bottom there is the longitude and latitude, yeah? So when I put here the cross, I will write down on the notepad what is the longitude and latitude. So 1991 and 5191 also. 5191, yeah. So these two values present more or less, of course, center of my forest, yeah. I select Poland, then I will add a grid, black horizontal label Latitude. I add to Poland. As you can see, in default the grids are clipped to the Poland, so I just right click, go to the properties, and in the grid boundary area I just switch off use map clip shape, so I just don't want to have it. Then in the properties I again go to the section when I have the elements of the grid. So in this section I remove completely ticks. So I select that one and I will select the second one. Then what I am going to do is just to go again here. The crucial point is just to add a custom offset, and in my case the custom offset will be that's exactly that one which I just copy from my map. So I just add the value. The latitude, so I paste it here. So the effect is that you can see that the line is exactly in the center of my red dot, so this is what I wanted to have. Next thing, I will just switch to the automatically adjust, so interval I will switch off, automatically adjust. So now when you switch it off, you will get an option just to modify the interval. So I don't want to see any other lines here. So in my case I will use the interval a little bit bigger, for example 10 degrees like that one, and 10 degrees for latitude. So in that case you should see that the value will be actually much bigger, sin values for the labels. Then I will do exactly the same for the grid lines. So I select that, and now we are almost succeeded, because you see only two lines which represent longitude and latitude for my forest. So this is what I really want to see. I see also the labels. The next thing which is a little bit problematic here, you can see the border. Actually it's not the border of my frame, because the border, as I remind you, has value 0, so it's the border of the gratitude. So I go to the properties here, it's just to go to the knit line, and as you can see here is 0,5, so I just set it to 0. So now as you can see I have only two labels, which is quite okay. And the final thing which I'm going to do is just to focus a little bit on these values here. So I will go here, then I will go to the properties, and here in the tab of the grids and labels I will switch location of my values here. So I will switch only to the north, yeah, will be enough, and here for example to the east, yeah, it's quite okay. Now offset -2, and of course the symbol, you can resize it. So in the symbol I will add the 11 points, a little bit bigger. Additional thing which I want to use is actually use the halo. So I will use the halo. So I turn on the white color to the halo, and I will resize the halo size to 3 points. So now you can see it's not overlapping with my values here. So now it's much better, much bigger. And the last thing, as you can see, this is value which are here are in the degrees. But if you want to have in decimal degrees, like we already talked about, because I remind you here, There is a decimal degrees value. Of course, it's optional, whatever you want. Default is in degrees. So if you want to modify it, you have to go to dynamic text, and here is the dynamic text format. So I just copy this here to the notepad just to show you what's going on. So this is what's already here, but this is modified value. So you can see there is a grid, and this changes to DD units is decimal degrees. So if you want to modify it, you have to modify that value. Of course, number of decimal places, it's up to you. The other things are not so important. Anyway, I will just copy that. I will put it below the link on the film. So I just copy that, paste it here. So now, as you can see, it's perfectly prepared. So I have everything here. I really encourage you, just avoid using a grids, because mostly it looks horrible. So just imagine that here we have the Europe, and you will add the grid like that. Yeah, it's absolutely disaster. Just avoid such situation, because it's really bad looking, and it destroys the real composition of the objects. So remind you, just use these grid lines only when it's needed. Of course, if you want to show the size of the object and you just mention about it in the text, here you can see everything, because there's longitude and latitude, and it's clear it's connected with the subject in the text. We know where is the forest. Forest is here. Here is a zoom. Here is the Poland. We know where is the Poland, exactly according to the Europe. We have everything here. When you are ready to export your map, you go to the share, then export, then JPEG. And of course, there is a clip to the graphic extent. High resolution 300 dot per inch is quite okay. So JPEG 300 dot. I will just press the export, not save, press it export. It's a little bit confusing. Just press export. So I'm going to export that. And here you can see the ready map, which is already prepared to put it in the text. So in my opinion, it's efficient, it's okay, it's light, not very dense. It's perfectly described where the forest is located, what I'm going to present. Remember about additional thing, do not add any title on your map. You have the figure description on the bottom, when you can put everything what should be in the title. Everything in the article you can add in the description of the figure. So of course, this is my private opinion, how it should looks like. You can modify it however you want. I just show you some examples, some tips, tricks, which you can do in ArcGIS Pro. Of course, you can do the same in QGIS. There is no problem. Even in QGIS, in some areas may be better, some will be not so perfect. Can be a question. Do I need a scale bar here to the zoom? I absolutely don't need it, because when you want to know what is the size of this object here, you can clearly see it here. There's a 500 meters is the division is here, so I see it's about 500 meters exactly. This is about 400 meters. So you don't need to put additional scale line here. So this is my suggestion. You can use my ideas here. You can modify, I encourage you to modify, to share your opinion, just to add some additional ideas, tips and tricks. Every time you will write something interesting, I will be very grateful for your comment. Thanks a lot.